Dr. Step, okay. So my name is Faisal, and I am a education consultant by profession, and I run two companies. The first is CETMATRIX, where we do where we do education and career consulting, and we have been in this industry for the past 5 years. And recently we started one more project, PRISM Scholar, where we do totally work on certifications, and even we consult universities and the governments on accreditations and even the licenses besides faculty equipment. So that's a brief of about me. And today I'm going to talk about financial certifications and financial licenses and how it will help you in building a global career. So the first thing first, I just want to know what exactly are your background, and are you guys from the financial industry, or are you from some different industry? So that it will help me in what you say, like repositioning my entire presentation. So I assume that most of you are in the financial industry. Okay, so in today's presentation, well, first and foremost thing, I just want to tell you the financial industry is a vast ocean and it's almost impossible to cover each and every certificate and each and every license. Oh, one is from electronic engineering background. Okay, and the other is MBA finance student. So let me tell you, the most important thing is that it's almost impossible to cover each and every certificate and each and every license in one single presentation. So what we are going to do is that we'll just cover the holistic, or we'll just present the holistic overview of the financial certifications, the financial industry, the financial licenses, so that it will be quite helpful for you in making an informed choice. So, in today's presentation, we will be giving you a roadmap of how the global finance can actually work, and even the in-demand skills, the most respected certifications, and even the licenses required in regulated markets. In certain industry, if you want to work in the regulated industry, let's say if you want to work as a tax consultant, or let's say as a trader or as a equity consultant, you have to hold a license. So without that license, you can't even work. Now, from the Indian perspective, I will just give you a brief example. You can provide the financial consulting, and even you can give the financial advisory, each and everything. But when it comes to the audit, only the chartered accountant who holds a practice license can audit your financial reports. So there's a difference. Anyone can give the license, or sorry, can give the financial consulting or even the advisory, but only the licensed professional or the chartered professional can sign your audit reports, or even can work in the regulated industry. So let's say, just a brief example, there's a industry known as actuarial science, or so it's about the insurance industry. Like they usually help people, or they usually help the banks and as well as the insurance companies in the calculation of premiums, in designing of the premiums for whether it's for the life insurance, whether it's health insurance, or even the corporate insurance. So it's a regulated industry, and only the chartered actual professional can uh, do that job. Okay, so in today's presentation, we'll be talking about a just give me a second. So in today's presentation, we are going to cover we'll just to be giving quick overview of the global financial industry, and even the highest earning designation in the finance domain, the major certifications like CPA, CFA, CMA, CIMA. their pathways, their eligibility, the cost, time, and the outcomes, the financial licenses, like what exactly they are and why they are mandatory in many countries, and how to build a global finance career from India, and even reciprocity of Indian qualifications. Let's say you hold a CA, or let's say you hold any other certification. So can the certificate be valid in other countries? Let's say if you hold a CA, so can you easily move to some other countries, let's say UK or USA or Australia or even the Middle East countries, and practice as a license or as a licensed consultant or as a licensed auditor? And after that, even we'll be covering of country-wise job opportunities and certification pathways. And at the end, we'll be talking about, or at the end, we'll be just taking the question and answers. Okay.
Might be a case of eventually they have to decide who the squad will be for the whole World Cup back in South Africa in 2027.
Hello?
Suppose this stage maybe having looked to see it.
Hello?
Actually done okay, but it's been in combination with another sprint, so just surprised that he was one and only today.
Does anyone have any question?
Mahmood Khan, can you mute yourself?
Hello? Okay. Now, let's talk about the financial industry. So the financial industry, most of the people thinks it's just a bank or some financial institutions. So financial industry, it's a very vast industry and it's built on multiple interconnected sectors. Let's say it's like interconnected sectors like banks and even the fintech companies, insurance companies, and even investment banking, trade finance industries. So it's a kind of interconnected sectors, and each playing a like a kind of distinct role in how the money is managed, protected, grown, and as well as regulated. Now, as someone who is was planning to build a career in the financial industry, first you have to understand the each and every sector role and what the whole purpose is all about. Without that, it's not at all wise to think of starting a career in the financial industry. Just फजल मैं क्लास में हूँ, थोड़ी देर में कॉल करती हूँ. Okay, so now as I told you, the financial industry, it's built on multiple interconnected sectors. The first, obviously, you can say the major chunk holder or the major backbone is the banking industry. Now, even in the banking industry, there are furthermore subsectors like retail banking, wholesale banking, corporate banking, and even investment banking. So the retail banking. Now, retail banking is a sector which is actually or through which the normal people will interact with banks, and obviously they're responsible for managing the people money, and they will help people in day-to-day transactions. So the retail banking are the one who help people or who deal with the individuals for the savings account, the loans, and the credit cards. Now, mostly when it comes to the retail banking, the common roles which you might see are the relationship officer, or you can say the branch operations consultant, or the teller, or even like credit officer. So these are the basic responsibilities. Now, apart from that, there is a corporate banking, which deals with the companies. Now, when it comes to the companies, they have somewhat different requirements. Because the company's requirements is that they need a corporate account and they need a working capital. And apart from that, the requirements are like term loans, and even they have requirements where the bank will leverage their assets like their factories or even their patents to give them loan. And apart from that, their major requirement is cash management. So mostly there you can see the roles like credit analyst, or you can see the roles of corporate banking associate. Apart from that, they there is a separate banking domain, which uh, it involves there is another banking division, treasury. Now the treasury major role is uh, like they usually consult the governments and as well as the states and even the nations, and their requirement is about they ensure the country is having enough liquidity, the enough forex rate, and even they usually work on the interest rate for the banks. So now, if you see, most of the time we see the news reports like our forex reserves are dipping, or our forex reserves are going up, or we don't have enough liquidity, or you might have saw the reports like the RBI relaxes on the repo rate and even the reverse repo rate. So this now what exactly they do is that they will ensure the banks and as well as country have enough liquidity. What usually happen is that if the country doesn't have liquidity, then the entire import export will be affected. Now, when it comes to managing of treasury, mostly the nations they closely work along with a lot of state banks and even prominent companies and even major exporters. And in the treasury domain, you usually see the roles like treasury analyst and even the trade finance specialist, and even the roles like supply chain finance specialist. Now comes second industry, which is growing in the recent years, is the insurance industry. Now, in the insurance industry, in the start of presentation, I just told you about the actual science. So the insurance industry is again subdivided in various sectors. Like the first is the life insurance or the term insurance, which focus on the long-term protection and investments. Like it could be the individual life insurance or even the term insurance of the companies, and where there you will mostly see the positions as actuarial analyst or the underwriting or the product development. So now the actual analyst, the major role is to analyze how much premium once how much premium the insurance purchaser should pay, and how much should be the payout once a certain thing is failing. Now, I will give you one brief example when in 2008 or 2007, when the housing market of the USA was about to collapse, there was a famous activist short seller, Dr. Michael Burry. So he was the one who short the entire housing market. So what he did, like he created a few products whereby he uh, what you say, like he created certain products, and if at all the housing market is failing, then the bank should pay him he shorted the entire housing market, and that's where he made almost $2 billion. And one of the major mistake what most of the actual analysts at that time did, like they didn't did the deep analysis of the housing market, and obviously because of that major mistake, most of the banks got collapsed and they ended up paying like billions of dollars to various short sellers. Apart from that, the general insurance like uh, you can mostly you might have saw about health insurance or vehicle insurance, property insurance, and even let's say if you are a frequent traveler, then you might have seen even the travel insurance too. So there you might have there mostly the positions, it's like a claims specialist or the underwriter or even the risk assessor. And mostly in the insurance industry, the actual is a integral, or the actual analyst is the integral job position. Apart from that, mostly apart from the actual analyst, there is the other major title is the underwriter. So underwriter are the one who is responsible for assessing the financial risk before issuing a policy. So when mostly what we usually purchase is the general health insurance or the vehicle insurance. But when it comes to the big corporate insurance or big banking insurance, because if you see, even whenever a bank is issuing a loan, they usually insure that loan. So that's where the assessor and as well as the risk evaluator and the underwriter will do how much the bank should pay the premium, and what if if the loan is failing, then how much the insurance companies have to pay. And if one simple mistake, it will just collapse that industry, or it will just what you say, it will end up as a bad sale. Third industry, which is quite glamorous, or you can say it's very high earning industry, the investment banking. And investment banking are the one who handles the high value corporate finance activities. It do involves like merging and acquisitions, or mortgage backed securities, the valuation and equity research. And even in the investment banking, you again, it's first subdivided into two more roles, like the buy side and the sell side. uh, so mostly the investment banker, they usually advises company on the buy, like in the merging acquisitions, or even raising funds, and even the issuance of securities, or the issuance of the stocks, and even more, they help companies in assessing their valuation. And even apart from that, they are the one who is responsible for helping companies in launching the IPOs. So they closely work along with family offices, and even um, big venture capitalists or the angel investors. So when I say when it comes to the investment banking, as I told you, there are two sub sectors, like buy side and the sell side. So the buy side are the one who closely work in the family offices, or venture capitalists, or you can say the angel investors, and they are the one who usually invest money, or who usually invest uh, capital for purchasing the stock. And moreover, uh, they do analysis about how the investment will pay off the later stage, and what is the risk when it comes to the particular investment. Now when it comes to sales side, they mostly work with hedge funds, or even the investment banker, and they mostly sell the products like securities or the equities, and even the stocks, and apart from that, mortgage-backed securities, and even uh, some other products like other tranches. And after that, there is uh, which is fast growing, is the asset and wealth management. And the asset and wealth management, they are the one, the asset and wealth management sector, or the professionals, they are the one who usually advise high net worth individuals or ultra high net worth individuals in managing their money. And they usually provide portfolio advisory to these professionals. And apart from that, even uh, as for the past couple of years, you might have seen uh, uh, or you might have saw, like, a lot of people are investing in mutual funds. So mostly that's also involve like just give me a second. Now, asset and wealth management are the one who is responsible for managing the money of high net worth individuals, and even the family officers. And mostly um, the common roles which you might have seen in the asset and wealth management includes portfolio analyst, wealth advisor, fund management associate. And they are the one who is responsible for investing the people money in various pool of funds, or even uh, other assets, including real estate, or even securities, or even mortgage, even we can say some other luxury items too. Now, one thing which is fast growing up for the past couple of years is the fintech industry. Now, this is one of the fastest growing industry, and what they are doing is that they are integrating the other sector of the bank, and obviously they are the one who is making sure that the banking industry is reaching to the masses. Now, obviously, I'm 100% sure that you all are the users of either at least two or three or couple of financial products in the fintech domain. Like the most common are the UPIs. Apart from that, most of you are using the financial rewards points like credit, or might be a lot of might you might have used PayPal or Stripe or some other financial products. So they are the one who are making sure that the financial products are easily accessible to the masses. Previously, if you see way back in 90s, the stock market was mostly in person, and the person who has to purchase the stock, they have to work along with sub brokers, and they usually go to the sub brokers usually trade on the trading floor in Mumbai, or even in the Hyderabad Stock Exchange. And mostly because of not using the fintech products, the trade volume was low. But the moment uh, like trading platforms came, and as well as now the zero brokerage trading platforms gives, if the usage, or the you can say the uh, penetration of the financial, or the penetration of demat accounts is increased by many folds. The reason behind is the launch, or you can say the usage of these fintech products. One of the biggest example is Zerodha. After the launch of Zerodha, zero brokerage uh, trading product, the use, or the usage, or you can say the usage of what you say, like financial trading, or you can say the purchasing of mutual funds have been increased by many times. And at last, I will just not include as a totally as a financial industry subsector, but yes, they are the one who help the financial industry in making sure that they are adopting to each and every policy, and that is known as audit and compliance. Now, mostly the audit and compliance are the one who make sure that particular banks or particular insurance company, the particular finance companies are adhering to all the standards defined by the regulatory body. Now, when it comes to the audit and compliance, uh, some are external, some are internal. Now, if you see the audit and compliance, like even in India, we have SEBI, or in the USA, we have SEC, and like again in the audit and compliance. Furthermore, there are many more sub-regulators, like in the insurance, there is another sub-regulator, or you can say um, if you see real estate, there is another sub-regulator like RERA. So they will make sure that the industry is following all the standards. And mostly these regulators or sub-regulators are the autonomous body. They have powers to do the audits and checks, and even they have the powers to make the rules, so that no company or the no trading platform are going overboard to dupe the customers. If you see previously in India, when the SEBI was a toothless tiger, there was a lot of scams that came up, and the most famous scam was the Harshad Bhopla scam. Sorry, Harshad Mehta scam. And the reason was that at that time our regulators was not that much strong. And once the regulator got the ultimate power, then they started putting checks on various things. And now, even if you see, our regulators are becoming more stronger, and that's where they are putting in a lot of checks to make sure the public money is safe. Now, we will just see. Actually, I didn't change the slide. Okay, now if you see, or if you just talk about the most in-demand skills, before getting into the certification licenses, we'll just talk about the most in-demand skills, which have a lot of career scope and obviously where you guys can earn a lot. So obviously there are a lot many rules, but for the past couple of years, first for the past couple of years, and obviously down the line, at least for 10 to 12 years more, you can see there might be a lot of demands for these professionals. So you can able to see on the slide the roles like there will be huge demand for the roles like financial modeling and valuation, regulatory compliance specialist, ESG reporting or the ESG consulting, risk management, and data analytics and automation. And you can even see the wealth and portfolio advisory, AI assisted decision making, and apart from that, there might be a lot of roles, or there might be lot many positions that will integrate the finance, technology plus regulation. So obviously, there will be a lot of demand for this type of professions. So if you just talk about few of the roles like financial modeling and valuation, so this role is a kind of foundation of modern finance. So they just whether you are in investment banking or in corporate finance or equity research, they're just like they will make sure that uh, uh, just give me a second. They will just make sure that the company or the companies have enough cash flow and they have enough cash flow models, and even they will uh, perform the valuation, and even they will support the companies or the governments in investment or business decisions. The second role, which is fast growing, is the regulatory compliance. As I told you just in the previous slide about the role of the regulatory. So as and when the penetration of the financial products are becoming more deeper, even in the tier 3 cities and the towns and villages, there is a huge need for the regulatory professional. So the more the penetration of these financial products in the masses market, so the more the requirement of these regulatory professionals. So if you see, the governments are putting up various regulatory bodies, and these regulatory bodies, whether it's for the banks or non-banking financial corporations or even the insurance firms, so they will make sure that none of the fintech companies or the banks, they are going overboard to dupe the customers. And apart from that, they will ensure that if something bad is happening, then they will come into the picture, so they will protect the money or they will just protect the money and even the assets of the general population. So if you see recently, lot of banks, they just got bankrupt, or a lot of financial institutions, they just got bankrupt. Now at that time, the regulator will come into picture, and they will just leverage the bank's assets, and they will just do the auction, so that the bank will get the enough cash flow, and the bank will even pay the customers or the investors their money. And after that, they will even help the bank or the financial institutions in getting merged with some other prominent bank or some other financial institution, so that uh, that um, so that the loss will be minimized. If you see, the recent example was the Yes Bank, and Yes Bank was not performing well. So at that time, SEBI came into picture, and there was a settlement, and obviously the State Bank of India purchased the maximum stake in it. And after that, one of the after that there is ESG, like environment sustainability, and environment sustainability and governance. So this is again one of the fastest growing industry. And if you see, a lot many professional bodies, particularly CFA, they even launch a certificate known as CFA ESG, and this uh, C, uh, ESG professionals, they will just work with industries and as well as the companies so that they will understand the sustainability metrics and as well as they can integrate into the financial reporting. Now, if you see, let's say you are working in uh, industry where there is a huge carbon output. Uh, so at that time, if the carbon output is becoming high, then in that case, the bank or the company have to pay a huge fine. So this environment sustainability professional, they will make sure that either the company is purchasing certain carbon credits or they will just making sure that the carbon outcome is within that limits, and even they will make sure that the company's social even they are working on the company's uh, what do you say social responsibility too. And apart from that, one of the major rule or one of the major designation or skill which is very much in demand is AI assisted decision making. Now, whether it's understand or whether it's financial decision or whether it's trend analysis or fraud detection or even investment signal, there is huge need for the AI. Even if you see, even the income tax department, they are using AI for catching the tax evaders. So what they are doing is that they are deeply analyzing the individual bank accounts so that they can notice a pattern about the deposits, about the withdrawals, and even um, what you say about the tax evasions, and even more the AI assistance is being leveraged in the forensic accounting. So if you see, the forensic accounting is the one subsector where they will just see the financial trail or the accounting trails to understand how the money flowed, uh, how the money flowed during each transaction. So mostly while catching or well apprehending any white collar crime, the forensic accounting do plays a very major role. And in that forensic accounting, the AI is plays a very major role. So in that through that they will understand how that money flow and what was the reason behind it, and did any intermediary played any part. So previously, if you see, when any criminal was on the turnout, or like it was almost impossible to catch that criminal or the white collar criminal. But with the usage of AI and as well as with the usage of the modern technology, it's becoming very much convenient for catching this white collar criminals. Now will comes to the most important thing of the financial certifications and the financial licenses. Now, before that, we have to understand the real difference between financial certificate and the financial license. Now, the first and foremost thing we have to understand that the both the certification and the license are two different things. A certification is a credential that proves that you have a knowledge and skill. It's not mandatory, but it's always good to have. But on the contrary, a license is a legal authorization and it allows you to perform regulated financial activities in a country. Now, CA is a kind of license. So without that, you can't audit any statement. But on the contrary, CFA, that most of the industry banks do value, is just a credential. Yes, it's always good to have, but it's not mandatory. So what exactly certification do? It demonstrates your competency, it enhances your credibility, it strengthens your resume, and obviously it will help you in job. And mostly these are issued by the bodies which are they are not exactly the autonomous bodies, but obviously they have a huge market value and huge industrial value. And obviously as they are the industry leader, so they can even lobby the industrial associations, and even the respective governments too. But it's not mandatory to have them to perform a specific job. So if you see the common licenses, or sorry, the common certifications, the first is the CFA, the Chartered Financial Analyst, by the CFA Institute. ACCA, that is Association for Chartered Certified Accountant. Most of the people do confuse ACCA as the CA qualification of the UK. It's not. The CA qualification of the UK is ICAEW, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. ACCA is an independent certification, but yes, it has a lot of acceptance. Then there is FRM, Financial Risk Management. Then there is CFP. Then CMA, that is Certified Management Accountant. Then there is Chartered Alternate Investment Analyst. There are a lot many certifications, and obviously the industrial bodies, they give a lot of importance to it. And one more certificate which most of you might have heard, or even you might have even on your CV, it's a PMP. So yes, it gives a lot of value to your CV, and obviously it will give the wow factor to the employer. But yes, there are a lot many professionals who are doing their job without that license. Now comes the most important thing, the license. A license is a legal authorization, and without that, you can't perform that specific financial activity in that country. Now, obviously, the purpose of that license is that it's mandatory to perform that certain activity. And when it comes to the financial industry, you can advise, trade, or even you can sell securities. And obviously, even you can trade in the financial or on the trading platform. So if you see some of the most common or the most heard what you say license, from the Indian perspective, is CA. Then there is company secretary. Then obviously, if you see in the USA, there's Series 7 for the trading, and there is Series 63, 65 for again for the financial advisory. In if someone is planning to work as a tax consultant, yes, this is one of the fastest growing license for the past couple of years. EA, that is enrolled agent of the IRS. EA is agent license. Once you hold EA, then you can provide the tax consulting to the US professionals as per the IRS guidelines. So once you hold the EA certificate, then you will be enrolled in the IRS directory. Then CPA itself is another topic. So because once you hold a CPA, then whichever state of the USA you are moving, then you have to hold a separate you have to hold a separate state license too. And if you're planning to work or attain the CPA from India, then the basic requirement is to have at least 150 credits. And mostly, if you for getting that 150 credits, you should have a BCom plus MCom. And not all the states are that much flexible for the CPA. For mostly in the Indian students, they will go with the Guam pathway. There is one state in the USA, Guam, and it doesn't require assessment before taking the CPA. Inshallah, I will talk about the CPA in detail in the next presentation or in the next talk. So, so these are the specific government licenses which you can take for working in the regulatory industry. Even if you see in India also, there is more licenses coming up. If you see, if someone is planning to work in the real estate, then they should hold a RERA license. No, it's not that much implemented in India, but in other countries it's almost mandatory. And if someone is planning to work in UK, then they should hold ICAEW, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, for auditing any financial statement. So this is the basic difference between license and the certification. So as a professional who is planning to build the career in the financial industry, you have to understand whether you are whether you are whether you feel require the license, or the certification will serve the purpose. If your field is require the license, then without license you can't take up that job. But if your field requires the certifications, at least you can make an entry as a trainee analyst or as a trainee professional. So first you have to understand whether your field requires a license or a certification. Now we will see the top earning designation for the past the top earning designations. Obviously, hello, Zubair, can you mute? Okay, so the top earning designation, obviously, it's the gold standard is the chartered financial analyst. The chartered financial analyst is it's being like it's being offered by the Chartered Financial CFA Institute of the USA, and it's one of the most in demand license, or sorry, it's one of the most in demand designation uh, of the USA and obviously across the world. And the best thing of the CFA is that you can work any any part of the world, and obviously, let's say you hold a CFA. Then after that, if you're planning to go for MBA or from any premium institute, then you will get a lot of brownie points also. So this is the best thing of the CPA, sorry, CFA. CPA, I count both as a designation as well as license. If you're planning to work in the auditing, then CPA is mandatory. But if you're planning to work in the accounting, CPA is a kind of designation. So this and the good thing of CPA is that, let's say you hold a CPA, then obviously you will get a salary of at least around minimum 12 lakhs with the firms like EY, Deloitte, and KPMG, PwC. And there's a lot more demand for the CPA professionals in the Middle Eastern countries too. Uh, Apart from that, the good thing of CPA is that most of the banks, or sorry, most of the companies with global operations like Accenture or even Infosys, they usually onboard one CPA for the US taxation purpose. So, having a CPA, it will add a lot of value to your profile. Then there is financial risk manager. Again, this is a very in-demand designation, and they mostly work with the banks and financial institutions. Apart from that, they there's a even broad there's even demand for this financial risk management professional with the consulting companies like uh, Accenture, or even the companies like Capgemini, or even the big three consulting companies like McKinsey, Bain, or BCG. So this is a most one of the most in demand designation or the certification. And apart from that, CFP is very much in demand in the countries like USA, Canada. And if you're planning to work or move to these countries, and if you are planning to start your own practice, or if you want to work with or advise few clients, then CFE is a very good designation to have on your CV. Apart from that, mostly the family offices, or even most of the family offices and the small investment, the boutique investment companies or the hedge funds, they usually have a lot of CFPs. And there is huge demand for the CFP professionals in the UAE in particular, because the huge rise of the family offices. Then there is actual certifications, actual professionals. Actual is a one of the most untouched certification, or one of the most untouched designation. There is huge demand for the actual certification professionals in uh, the insurance companies, and the demand is so high is that the moment any individual or any student completing three papers of the Indian actual science, they will be hired by any bank, and the bank will sponsor the rest of the training. And obviously, at last, ACCA, CIMA, and CMA, this is a kind of accounting, particularly in the management accounting. They don't work in the financial accounting. they usually work in the management accounting. And the good thing of ACCA is that you will find a lot of job openings for the ACCA professionals in Middle Eastern countries. And uh, one more value advantage of having ACCA is that ACCA has mutual recognition with two universities. So the moment any student doing the 9 papers of the ECCA, then they will get the BSc honors of the Oxford Brookes University. And the moment any candidate is doing that all the 13 papers of the ECCA, so they will be getting MSc of either University of London or even or the Oxford Brookes University. So the good thing of ECCA is that, let's say any candidate is doing ACCA during their BCom, and by the time they complete the ACCA, so they will have a UK qualification along with the ACCA besides an Indian BCom or Indian MBA. Now talk about the licenses. Now one of the most common license, if you see in the USA, is the Series 7. Series 7 is let's say if you are planning to move to if you're planning to move to USA, and if you hold SSN, or if you even after your MBA, you can easily take up Series 7 exam to Series 7. And once you are in the Series 7, you can easily move into the trading domain. Then apart from that, even India also has licenses for selling or advising various financial products, like for the mutual funds, or even if you see there is a lot of banking and financial certifications too, or the licenses too. And apart from that, if you're planning to work as a trader, then even SEBI also came up with a lot of licenses too. And at last, as I told you, there is enroll agent that is regulated by the IRS. So if you want to work in the US taxation industry, then you should have the enroll agent certificate by the IRS. Now we'll talk about the global career pathway, and how you can build a career or the global career in the financial industry. So obviously, I think most of you might comes from background of graduation like BCom or BBA or MBA, and even more, it's not limited only to the what you say like BCom or BBA or MBA. There are a lot many professionals despite holding banking, sorry, the engineering, or even medicine, they move to not exactly medicine, like some other healthcare professions, they move into the financial industry. And for the example of a professional holding a financial one of the most well-known professional holding a financial designation is Nikesh Arora, the current chairman of Palo Alto, and the previous chief business officer of Google. So after his BTech and after his MBA, he got his CFA designation, and he is one of the most well-known financial professional. And apart from that, there are a lot many professionals after taking up their engineering qualification, they move into the financial industry. And it's not that it's not mandatory that you should come from the financial industry, or you should know or you should hold a BCom. Like even you can move to the financial industry after your BTech or your BSc too. And apart from that, the financial industry give a lot of value to the people who have deep domain experience or good understanding of mathematics. And so once that is done, it's always good to build some technical skills, because if you hold the good technical skills, then it's quite easy for you to make a career in, or it's quite easy for you to make a career move. Then the third thing is the choosing the certification that aligns with your domain. So let's say you want to move into the management accounting, then it's always good to take up the certification on the CMA. But if you want to move into the financial accounting, then or cost accounting, then it's always good to move take up the certification of uh, like CPA or CA. if you want to move into the financial analysis or the investment banking, then you should go for the CFA. And if you want to move into the taxation, then some other certificate. And as I told you, always think or always decide whether your industry or whether your chosen career path requires a license or the certification. Let's say if you're planning to move into taxation, then obviously it requires license. So without license, your career either like you can't make a direct entry, or even if you're making entry, then the chances of growth is very limited. So always decide whether you are industry, or always check whether your industry needs a license or the certification. And uh, once you get enough experience, then take or apply for the certification based roles. So let's say you gain certain experience in what you say in the financial analysis or the investment analysis, and once you take up the right certification, let's say CFA, then you can apply, or you can take up the roles like in business analyst or the investment analysis with premium invested banks like JP Morgan Chase, or some other Bank of America, or some other even others in Indian specific banks too, or even uh, family offices or venture capitalists. And you uh, once you take up your required license or the or certification based on the planning country, then you can think of moving to that particular country. So let's say you are planning to move to USA and work in the financial or in the financial accounting industry, then it's always first the pathway is that get your skills analyzed by the respective body, sorry, your credentials analyzed by the respective body when it comes to the accounting. Then there's NASBA. Then after that, it's always good to build some technical skills. And after that, once you did that, take up a job with any auditor or any financial consultant, and after that work on your CPA. So this CPA, it has four parts. Once you complete the four parts, then you can take up once you pass all the four parts, then you can apply for the license. And as a Indian without SSN, then you can think for the states like Washington or Guam or few other states that are somewhat relaxed for these licenses. And once you have the right licenses, or once you get the CPA license for that particular state, then what you can do is that either you can apply for a country that is ready to sponsor you for the H1B, or join any US based company, or even some specific organization that is ready to give you the US specific work. And once that is done, then once you get the H1B sponsor, then you can apply for your visa and you can move. The same is with the UK or some other countries. Let's say you are planning to move to UK, then you have to take up the ICAEW, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. And once you did that, then you can apply for the UK license also. Then at last comes the reciprocity. Now, the reciprocity means that the qualification issued by the any Indian body. Let's say in India, most of the qualifications are not that much standard. When I say standard, like it's not accepted by global bodies, but still CA has a lot of takers. So lot many countries, including UK, Australia, Middle East, and Europe, they give reciprocity to the Indian CA. But I think most of you don't hold CA, so uh, it doesn't make sense to talk that much in detail. But I will just give you a brief. about CA reciprocity. So CA, when it comes to this Canada, so CPA Canada gives advanced standing to the CA modules, and after that, once ADCA move to Canada, then they can then they can reduce exam load through the CFE pathway, that is Common Financial Examination, and once after that they can easily take up the Common Financial Exam, and after that they can become the CPA Canada member. The same is with CPA Australia and New Zealand, and when it comes to the airline also, they have mutual recognition. So obviously, uh, if a CA from the US or CA from India is moving to the airline, then they will get exempt from all CPA airline exams, and only they have to take the ethics assessment, and they have to complete the membership formalities. And when it comes to the England and Wales, or you can say UK, it's not full repository, but they just have to take 3 to 4 papers that is specific to only UK specific financial accounting modules. And after that, when it comes to the Middle East and even Singapore, they don't have like when it comes to the UAE, they don't have any formal university, but yes, the CA can easily work uh, in the Gulf countries, and they can even register themselves as an auditor too. And one of the best thing of CA is that mostly the Gulf countries, they do give a lot of value to the CA professionals from India, and they can start their own auditing practice, or they can even take up a job with major companies too. And apart from that, a lot of African countries do give full repository, or you can say full recognition to the CA qualification. So at last, as a finance professional, when you are thinking of global mobility, then you have to think like which country you are planning to move, and what are the designation which you should have before moving and after moving. So let's say you are planning to move to USA, then in which you have to understand, or you have to see which designation you should have, or which qualification you should have, and that qualification requires a license and not or even let's say even if you're planning to move to Canada, then in the Canada they have a CPA. So when it comes to CPA, then you have to take the common financial examination, and for that you have to get your certificate recognized or assessed by the local body, and after that you have to take the foundation exams. So you have to understand how much effort you have to make up a career, and can you able to invest that much time, and even the future earning potential. So obviously, if you if you're planning to move to the financial accounting or the cost accounting, the earning potential is very high. So as per the research recently taken undertook by one auditing company, there is a huge demand for the CPA professionals in Canada, but the supply is very low. And lot many Indian students, particularly from Gujarat, what they are doing is that they once they are moving to Canada, they are applying for the CPA Canada license, and they are establishing themselves this in the public accounting domain. Apart from that, you can even take up roles which is uh, not specific to license or certifications, like you can say let's say if you have strong technical skills like uh, AI specific skills or analytical skills, then you can take up a lot of entry level designation, and you can skill, or you can scale up your career once you have enough experience. So that's all regarding this topic. And as I told you, this topic, when it comes to certifications, each and every certification requires a separate presentation. So if you have any specific query about any particular certification, let's say CPA, CFA, or you can see even CAIA or any other financial. If you want to understand any other financial pathway, also you can reach out to me directly. My number is mentioned at the end of the presentation, or you can even drop me an email. I'll be glad to help you. Any other questions, or should I just